This will happen a few times, and I'll explain myself and argue with you now, even though I think eventually I'm just going to end up saying the same thing over and over again. But here we go. The college football playoff isn't a bad idea. Let's make sure we separate everything out. The college football playoff isn't a bad idea. It's a good idea. It's an absolutely necessary idea whose time has come. But the college football playoff is constructed badly. And I'm going to say, and I know this is silly for people to hear, but I think it's going to end up being bad marketing. But in a sport that has no morality whatsoever, no rules, no moral compass at all, this is going to sound silly. But the college football playoff is constructed horribly and, more importantly, unfairly. And yeah, I actually think it should matter. So the thing is, I don't think you care, and I don't think most college football fans care. So tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong about all this. We have a 12-team tournament coming up soon. It will most likely, no, I'm not even going to say most likely, it's going to have 8 of the 12 teams will be from just 2 leagues. And by rule, just so you know, the conference champions of the Big Four, the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12, and the highest rated non-Big Four team are automatically in the tournament. Okay, you win your league, you win your conference championship game, which is stupid by itself. Having played an entire regular season, the construct of this thing is asinine. I can't believe I'm the only person that thinks this is really a silly setup. You play these regular season games that are supposed to mean a lot, and then you decide the champion based on a one Saturday afternoon event to sell Dr. Pepper. And then that's supposed to be your conference champion, no matter what their record is. It's a one-off. It's a one-off. So those teams are automatically in. The rest, of course, are picked by a selection committee. And I think that's dumb. And I will always maintain that it's dumb. And I'll make an argument there's a better way to do this. The committee, I think, could seed the teams if you really want to do it that way. But it's asinine for the committee a committee of college football bureaucrats, okay, name tag wearing bureaucrats. It's silly for them to handpick the team, and the sport, my opinion, will increasingly be a regional sport if this is the way you want to operate. You want to act like the NFL in so many ways, but you don't act like the NFL. Now, that's why I think it's just basically now a regional sport, and it's going to be hard to be out of a regional sport, which might be fine to the network, that's got a sign above my head. That's cool to an extent. I don't find it that interesting in the end. And I can give you perfect examples of what, if you really want to watch football, I mean, what's more interesting. But I'll get to the why you don't care part, but teams should make the tournament like anything else. They should make the tournament by something measurable. Only measurable. Only. Not anyone's opinion. Not mine, not yours, not any stiff who's smoking cigarettes by a tree outside of an airport Hilton. It doesn't matter. Your opinion shouldn't matter. Wins, losses, conference record, tiebreakers, strength of schedule. I can just go down the list, just like the NFL metric does. We don't have this debate in the NFL. We don't. And you know what? We watch it like crazy. Even if we think it's a pretty bad team, but it's a really good team, we watch it like crazy. And it broadens the appeal. I know you're going to say, well, but Jeff, it's fun to debate, which I think is the most ridiculous argument, which has made college football kind of ridiculous by itself. But I don't understand what's so awful about having a real metric for the teams on the field and how they get into a tournament. I don't understand. I'm waiting to hear the good arguments against, having a system, a measurable system that decides who goes into the tournament just like the NFL. People love to say, man, and I hate this argument. I've always hated it. But it's, it's pretty cool that we have this debate about who's better than someone else. Why is that cool? I mean, that's kind of silly, I think. I mean, we always debate about who we think is better than someone else. That's what betting lines are for. You know it? We got that figured out, that we do it all the time. I don't really want to argue after the fact if SMU belongs in more than Ole Miss. Well, they're better, blah, blah, blah. No, if you get in, you get in. And then that's it. I mean, I don't find that cool and interesting and entertaining at all, but that's exactly what we do all the time. And somehow someone thinks that's a cool argument. I don't buy it for a second. We've been doing that for decades. The tournament set up now, the framework now is no different than it's ever been. It's no better. It's really not. I mean, it's just opinions. And it's always been opinions. Aren't people moderately bothered by that? So I don't get it's great for the sport that we have debates. No, it's great for the sport that we watch. It's great for the sport that we bet. That's great for the sport. The NFL taught everybody everything about this. So the NFL does it very easily. You know what college football is? And it's the best comparison. I guess if you're a lobbyist, I'm sorry to offend you. I hate to say and lump you in with an industry, college football, that I think has no moral compass whatsoever. It has none. Zero. It has no direction whatsoever. It has no framework. You know what college football is? It's just a bunch of lobbyists. That's it. Some are paid more because they are backed up by bigger, more powerful corporations. That's all it is. It's a sport of lobbyists. It's a sport that has no rules, that is run by lobbyists. That's all it is. It's completely unlike the NFL. It's about feelings and opinion. The NFL is about metrics and playing. And I don't know why people are bothered by it. Oh, but the 12-team playoffs. So, in fact, I would argue with you, the lobbyists, the blue blood lobbyists, matter more than real metrics. Tournament metrics should be set up. Playoff tiebreakers should be built in. It's as simple as that. The NFL has expanded its tournament over time. College football could expand its tournament. That's fine. More teams, more playoffs are better. We know that because we watch more. So there should be no committee. None. That's what talk shows are for. We want to debate, we'll debate. So there should be no committee of any kind. None. You don't pick the teams. Jerry Jones, as much power as he has, he shouldn't be able to hire lobbyists to get the Cowboys in with a losing record. You don't want it? It shouldn't be that way. You don't trust the sport. So why would you ever want to watch it if you were a casual fan? I don't trust that sport. How different is that sport than wrestling? So it's an idiotic framework. And I don't care if you make it 40 teams. If it's still built on a committee, then it's kind of pointless. I'm not saying the games are fixed. The tournament is fixed. And that's no fun. So there should only be a system of metrics that decides the 16 teams. Yes, exactly like the NFL. Exactly. There will be no more debate. So, for instance, if SMU from the ACC gets into the tournament because of their record and because of their strength of schedule, and they draw Texas in round one, so what? So what? You didn't hate the Green Bay Packers getting into playoffs last year, did you? I mean, what was so awful about that? But the Packers, in the regular season, blah, blah. They based on the metrics, the Packers got in. Right? And I realize in college football, it's about halves and half-nots, so there's not going to be very many Cinderella stories. There's not. Still, wouldn't you at least like the tournament to be set up that way? Because, for instance, the Packers, who were a wild card team that a lot of people thought would get run off the field in Dallas, not only did they not get run off the field in Dallas, they blew out the Cowboys. And you know what else they did, that wild card team? Kind of a cool, interesting, compelling game. You know what else they did? They took the San Francisco 49ers almost to the buzzer. Almost beat them in San Francisco. So what's so awful about SMU earning the metrics to get in? What's so awful about Iowa State earning the metrics to get in? Why is that such a bad scenario? The fact is, it's just, you don't care. I mean, all you care about is just watching. It's NASCAR. It's just a regional sport, and you just want to see regional teams. And I got a comparison for you for these teams that get in the tournament. When in the end, all you really want to see is your hometown Blue Bloods. So what? That's what the regular season is. Wouldn't you love the chance to see somebody earn their way in and pull off an upset? Why does everyone hate the idea that maybe an upset would be cool? The only interest in college football on TV, because the ratings bear this out. For instance, I think already of the 20 highest rated games so far, 16 of them involve SEC teams. It's a passionate regional sport. But if you want to grow the sport and you want more TV sets that want to see it, you're going to have to create something that makes it appear, the tournament appear to be about merit, appear to be not like wrestling. Otherwise, you might as well, just going to basically have a round robin tournament for teams in the South and maybe throw in a few from the Midwest, and that's about it. The other programs don't mean much to the networks, and they don't mean much to the fans at all because it is a regional sport. But I would say this, the Packers getting in is the wild card, okay? That generates ratings over time. It's going to generate interest over time. It's going to generate the idea that, what if SMU did beat Oregon? I'm making this up, but you get the idea. So that's where my idea of getting in based on merit just seems to die. You don't care. You just want to see your team play the same teams over and over again. Really.